Oh, let's see if we're live here, guys. Let's do this thing. Let's get this thing kicked off, shall we? All right, guys. I saw somebody made that post. Let me pause this,
guys. Let's do this thing.
There we go. I got it. Well, hello, folks. Glad to see everybody in here. We're starting a little bit early. I'm hoping we get a large crowd before I start, and there's a reason for that. All right, so. First off, we want to thank Brother Nick for sending me all the videos that he's been sending. And listen, guys, I don't know if y'all know this or not. We have a brother that goes by the name of Abraxas that I've been holding on to his inner court audio. And the reason why I've held on to it is because I know how YouTube land is. They would actually not agree that he beat the judge, but I know this man. I've shaken this man's hand personally. A good friend of mine. He has a lot of knowledge, but he's won too at court using these same tactics. But he's actually won in court. But what we're going to do today. So most men and women don't realize that over the course of the last year and a half, everything that Brother Nick used and said, like when they asked where the residence was, he told the people that they're in their residence all the time. They occupy the temple which God gave them. These ideas don't allow these military venues to address you. So today we're going to do a study. I'm going to try to get everybody prepared to recognize and understand how important it is for you to go do the information. And what I'm going to talk about here, many men and women made posts about they need templates. They need this because they heard Brother Nick talk about he had templates. Okay. What Brother Nick was talking about, there's templates, forms that you can go fill out to get around fines and everything else. But what I'm going to tell you, you shouldn't be using a template at all until you actually know what the reason for the template is. It's very simple. It's very simple once we get through the complication of our indoctrination. That's the problem. So today we're going to do a contract law 101, and I'm talking about the very basics. But first off, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you your value. I'm not only going to show you your value, I'm going to show you that if you don't know who you are, you will be ruled your entire life. Number 3, we're going to figure out what is the operating system in the United States. And for one last time, I'm not going to argue with anybody else anymore, talking about here comes martial law and everything else. They don't know what they're talking about. These useful idiots that continue to run their mouth about things they don't understand or understand. Are leading the sheep to slaughter. Whether they know it or not, I don't know. But on this channel, we're going to empower you with that sacred ability of knowledge, and you won't go to the fire, and you won't be rejected by the Father. All right, so let's do this first. I want to get some scripture reading in before we start, and let me do this, folks. Let me share my screen. There we go. Let's see. Did we do it? There we go. All right. So let's start right here with Hebrews. All right. Before we start. Wherefore, as the Holy Ghost saith, today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, my friends, as in the provocation in the day of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my works for 40 years. Wherefore I was grieved with that generation and said, they do always err in their heart, and they have not known my ways. So I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest. Take heed, brethren, lest there be any of you of an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living God. Folks, I hate to tell you who that living God is. He is not the God of the dead. He's the God of the living, and he dwells inside the tabernacle that is you. And if you're always looking to an outside for where God dwells, you're going to miss it. It is the space in between the two temples that is the most holy of holies. It is the sacred ground. It is Mount Zion in Jerusalem. And these ideas we'll get through. Let's read John 15. I want to do John 15:17. 15:15. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. These things I command you, that you love one another. And folks, one of the hardest truths that men and women are ever going to come to understand is that sometimes the truth is offensive. Sometimes it's going to hurt somebody's feelings, and we just have to get through that. But the part I want to focus on here is the friendship of the world is enmity against the Father. We know this. Why? Because if you're with the Father and the Son, you are friends of the Most High. And it's kind of important to know that, because now we're going to do something else. Let's look. I want y'all to look at the etymology of the word David. Just the word David. What does it mean? It means a darling, beloved friend. Okay? These ideas that are all over the place. Let's go back to I think I had it up. Let me see. Yeah, right here. I have found David, my servant. I have found my beloved friend, my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him. Hey, look, guys, until you recognize and understand that the only anointed is one with life in him, and that's one who breaks out of the covenant of death and the agreement with hell, and breaks out of the beast system and comes back to life. And once you come back to life, you have it more abundantly. So with that, let me do this. Dear Father, guide my words. Let me not harm anybody in this knowledge. Let me give it to them easily. That way they can understand and overstand this information as we move forward. And let thy word not return unto thee void, but let it accomplish that which you please and prosper in anything and everything where you send it. In your precious Son's name, we pray these things. All right, guys. So I'm going to start off with a particular subject today. Let me get this down so y'all can see me. And yeah, I tell you what, before we start, let's do this. Let me tell everybody hello. Hey guys, the Badger report come out of her, my sheeple, Strict 9, Shanra High, Bryant Paddock. Oh, hold on, let me see it. Let's see, it's I hate when it does. All Chemistry, Zugino, Holistic, APRN, Jay Riggins, Carter S., Michael John, Maranatha. Hey, Maranatha, I was proud of that letter that you wrote about the one-to-one correspondence. I was impressed with that. Marco Melbourne, Robert Sextons, Overwatchers, Andrew Potter. Hey, Brother Damon, Katie Ray, Mary Wickham, Light in the Darkness, Dom Cervanti, Ange, Luciano, Michael Melchizedek, Ron Campbell, Gail, Daryl Spivey, The Badger Report, Grant Dickinson. Okay. All right. So, guys, if I missed you, I'm sorry. Love you all. Chemistry, Shannon Wells, Armchair, Armored Up, Jasmine, Tracy DeCamp, Amy, Sick Tut. Okay. That's it. Armchair Quarterback. Yeah. Got y'all guys. Okay. All right. So first off, what I want to do is, look, guys, so look, we're not in any kind of rush with this. I'm just going to I'm going to let the Spirit guide me through most of this. Y'all know how I am. I got some ideas that I wanted to put together, so I did. Okay. And that's the way that we're going to go. So let's do this. I got some things wrote down on here. Let's see how on my board how I want to do that. All right, let's start with this. Let's do this. All right. So expert, and listen, guys, I'm just showing y'all this. We're just starting off, but we want to see the Sal T. Quiz know who you are. This is the most important. I'm going to blow it up so y'all can see it. This is the most important thing that you can ever get to. Your entire life, you have been told one thing. You've been told you're a person, you're a corporation, you're an individual, all these things. But the one thing that you've never been told is that you're man or woman. And these ideas, you've been told to respect authority your whole life, yet the entire system that has been designed around you is really the Matrix. They even showed you in the Matrix movies, right? To know thyself is really the entire purpose of all this. Once you have that power, once you quit questioning who you are and looking for somebody else to come save you. Listen, I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings right here. That's not the purpose of this. If you are still waiting on somebody else to come and guide you and give you like a law for dummies handbook without actually putting in the effort to learn this stuff, you'll never get it. That is why this system holds all the power over us. So I'm going to take my time today. The point of today's study is 1, to know who you are. Number 2, to know who the beast is. We're going to identify it again. Even though I've done this for the last year and a half, what I believe happened with the Nick Peterson videos is it shows people via proof, somebody attending this study group, that once you know who you are versus what they want you to be, there is power in words. And I think many of you don't trust it. And let me say this. Do you think I went up from my house, drove 5,000 miles without a driver's license, and did that in the height of the so-called coronavirus pandemic, with all the borders so-called closed, because I was fearful of what was going to happen with me? No, never was. Not once was I afraid. Here's why. Because I know who I am and I know how this system operates. This system is commercial in nature. That is what operates. So let's look here. We're gonna go through. You've been lied to all your life. What you think you know and what is real. There are 2 lives running side by side. So what this 2 lives running side by side is this right here. This is let's go to Black's Law Dictionary, because we got to define some terms today. We're going to do this together. We'll do these in a little while. We're going to do the idioms in a little while, but we're going to do joinder first. All right. As soon as I find it, give me a second, guys. There we go. Oh my goodness. Did I just pass it up? I did. Hold on. I should have had this ready. I'm sorry, guys. There it is. All right. I did. I had it ready. All right. The joinder. All right. So there's 2 entities. When you're born and a birth certificate is made. Okay. We're going to do some work on this today right here. Your birth certificate is made. You're given. All right. I did. I had it ready. All right. The joinder. All right. So there's 2 entities. When you're born and a birth certificate is made. Okay. We're going to do some work on this today right here. Your birth certificate is made. You are given your parents give you a name. That's your first name, your middle name. All right. The state gives you a third name. Let's not do devil signs. A third name. And it is called the last name. It is the capitio domitio maxima. It has reduced you all the way down, because the given name is the surname. It's the thing which creepeth up below. That's why it's all capital letters. Here's the thing, though. It is the agent. And when I say agent, it means it's the creation of the state. And it's been joined to you. There's no separating this from your life. And I'm going to prove this in just a second. You are acting in the place of that creation of the state. You don't know who you are. And what they've done is they've joined you. They've coupled you together, uniting 2 or more constituents or elements in one, uniting with another person in some legal step or proceeding, a union, a concurrence. And what happened on the date of your registration of your birth, you were given a warehouse receipt for physical goods. That's what this is, by the way. The receipt has value too. We're going to prove that in just a minute. Let me turn the AC on in here. I'm burning up. Here we go. Okay, so stay with me, guys. All right, so you're created. Your mom and dad gives you the first and last name. All right. That first and middle name is your Christian name. That's the name that has power. That's the living man's name. Okay, so you're joined. You're given a last name. Upon accepting that last name, you are taught your entire life that that is your full name, and you act in the place of that persona. Okay. Here's the issue with that. This receipt is really just informing you that you were a captured prisoner at war. That you've been a slave your whole life, Neo. And here's the big issue, the really big issue. For those that don't realize that we've already had a military takeover in this, and I'm going to prove this 1,000%. 1,000% today. We're gonna get this, and that the operation of this system is commercial in nature, and also it's private international law. All right. So what we're gonna do, I want everybody to look before we start. So this is my birth certificate. That's my birth certificate number. All right. Why do I care that you have my birth certificate number? I don't. Doesn't make any damn difference to me, just like I didn't care if y'all had my address. So why don't I care? Because this isn't me. But I'm going to show you right now, folks. Let me blow this up. I'm going to show you. Look, we'll do it together. So let's go to news and research. Let's go to quotes. And then we're going to enter in. You see right here, it says to enter in, you have to have a space in between each symbol, okay? All right. Each symbol, remember, everything's a symbol. So we're going to enter in Brandon's birth certificate number. And we're going to get a quote. All right. We're going to find out that Brandon's birth certificate has a value and is traded on the stock market. Because stock market is stock exchange. Matter of fact, Brandon is worth $3,148,000 at this point in time. This is. Hey, we're even going to find out that Adam Benjamin is my fund manager. We're even going to find out that Brandon has multiple stocks that are traded at value through his birth certificate number. All right. And we have, there we go. Okay. So, all right. So let's stop right here and let's talk a minute. Okay. All right. So the birth certificate is our bond paper. All right. So we are the human resources. Okay. We are the value. And what happens is that upon our death, and Justinian Deception has covered this ad nauseum. He's 100% correct. He talks about the dead ledger text. That's why everybody that dies without claiming their estate, all right, this is your receipt. This is your receipt for your estate that's been stolen at war. And I'm going to prove that with Article 38 of the Liber Codes. And we're going to prove that again with Chapter 50 of the USC Code, United States Code, that proves that every time a president institutes national war powers, that means we are at war. And this is a belligerent state, and that it has captured, which is identified. We are captured slaves traded on the stock market like chattel. And now listen, folks, I don't care what other bozos go telling you that this isn't so, or they worried about the apocalypse coming tomorrow or the New World Order. Listen to me, folks. The New World Order has been in place for a very long time. Very long time. So, all right. So did everybody, let me catch up in the chat. Let me catch up in the chat. Let me go do this. Let me spend a minute in chat and get somebody. So do we have any questions? I don't want to go any further before if people don't understand. Okay, that's Fidelity. That's the Fidelity website. Yes, the UN as a corporation. As a matter of fact, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to we're going to get to that. That answer. So, all right. Anybody have any questions before we move on? Because I just need to know. It's like that in the entire world. That is West. If you got a birth certificate and a social security number, boom, it's over with. That is the point of Agenda 2021 and Agenda 2030 is to make everybody a slave. All right. So, okay. So nobody has any questions. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. All right, so let's continue on. Hey, listen, guys. After this, I'm gonna put links at the end. When this gets loaded up, I'm gonna put links to just about everything in the book. This is gonna be the go-to video I need people to go to. I'm not gonna continue asking every question. I need you guys to step up. I can't do all of it anymore. I've done my best. All right, so let's go do. Let's do some legal maxims. All right, so I uploaded the video about legal maxims the other day. That video only got 2,000 views, I think it was. All right. The reason why I uploaded the legal maxims is because within the legal maxims here, let me take this down for a second. Let me talk to you. All right, folks. I know it's hard to understand. I know it seems completely mind blown that this is the reality that we're in. But I promise you, if you do your due diligence and start learning these maxims, there's a reason why I always put maxims in each study. Because once you remember the maxim, once you memorize it, like Brother Nick. Brother Nick knew that he who leaves the battlefield first, what? Loses. He knows that. That means if you acquiesce to the enemy first, you automatically lose. There's no chance for you to win if you give up. There's no chance for you to ever win. And every fool out there thinking that the only way to win a battle is with a gun or with the sword is a fool indeed. There's many ways to win with the power of our words. This is the most important thing in your life is what can come out of this mouth. I promise you, if once you control this, you're going to have a lot of power. All right, so let's go do some legal maxims, okay? So first off, I want people to know what a contract is. Everything's about contract. We watch Brother Nick continue to throw the liability back on the agent. All right, so an agent. So let's do this first. Get a piece of paper here. All right, so the principal. The agent. All right, so this is the living. This is the dead. All right, so let's do this. So notice the principal is notice the agent. Notice the agent is notice the principal. All right, so identify who the agent is and then identify the principal. All right, so the only thing that I saw that Brother Nick didn't do that he should have done was identify the agent was working in the office, okay? And the office is the corporation. It's it's the judge sitting on the bench. It's the lawyer sitting in the pew. It's the police officer acting in the place of the corporation. So notice the agent is notice the principal. All right. He did make that statement, which was very big for Brother Nick. All right. Notice, but you also have to do it on a personal level. But Brother Abraxas has done this too. So what he should have done when the agent started to wanting to contract with him, and I'm going to prove this, why it's a maxim of law, it's an underlying principle. That agent wants to contract with you. All right. That's the first thing he's going to start doing is asking questions. Do you contract with anybody that you don't know personally? Would you? Do you know me? Would you shake my hands or accept me to write? Why do you do that for them? Why? Just because they wear a costume? Because you've been trained to do so. But it's the exact opposite. When they ask you to identify them, they're actually public servants. You ask them the same. As a matter of fact, you demand that they identify who they are. They're the ones in costumes trying to accost you. At that point in time, when they do not identify, and of course, there's more to this. We're just getting the basics. We're going to get the basics right now. When they do not identify, that means they're actually concealing their identity. They're concealing who they are by not producing their license, okay? Not their badge number, folks. I don't want to know their badge number, or I don't want to see what's on their little badge shirt. That's part of the costume. That's matter of fact, it's all in dog Latin. That means it's in sign language. That's not an identifiable, grammatically correct English language with a one-to-one correspondence, and we'll get to that one day. Not today, but anyway, I want to see the license. I want to see who he thinks he is, and at that point in time, he's going to deny you. And if they do hand you their license, at that point in time, you start giving them notice and disclaimer of what it costs to contract with you. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna leave, because at that point in time, you've just passed the liability back to the man. He's no longer working in his official. You've went past the agent, and you've gave notice to the principal. All right, now why am I talking about that? Why is that important to identify who wants to contract with you? As we saw the first time with the first set of police, and then the second time with the DHS agent. And this is true here in America too, folks. This B system is all encompassing. All right. It is true. Yes, you will run up into some beefcakes, swole up on juice and everything else, and you probably need to watch your mouth a little bit more. Say what needs to be said, recorded, and then of course, there is no consent where force and fear is involved. If you can prove force and fear, there's no consent. As a matter of fact, it's null and void. All right, so let's first do contract legal maxims, okay? You ought to know with whom you deal. Period. Let's start right here. Let's do this together. Let's do this together. Can y'all see that? Dom, yes, they do. You're not playing correctly, or they already have you as a threat. And I will tell you something else, guys. A man who has had run-ins in the past, it is deemed. It is why our records need to be expunged, because it is presumed. Now you've got to learn to stop the presumptions. They don't leave; they just beat you. And what have you said, Dom? The other day you told me that you were growing marijuana in your apartment and everything else. If you don't know your rights, you don't have any. All right. What would I do if the police come with force? Not sign a thing that they ever put in front of me. If you've signed a bond paper, if you go to court and you sign something, you're done. You're done. When you sign the bond paper, if you're scared to spend 5 or 6 days in jail, you're going to end. It's always ending with your consent. It's always ending with you signing something. And every time you sign something, you've accepted the service. We are deniers of the service. We don't want their service, period. Okay? All right. All right. So the contract makes the law. All right. And I don't know how many times you've been arrested, Dom, but every time that you get arrested and you start signing paperwork, that means you've actually contracted with these folks. And okay, so if you pay attention and Dom, if you pay attention right here and actually learn something instead of playing the victim card right now, and learn something and start identifying each one of these men that are doing you wrong and actually record it the correct way, you're not going to have a problem. That's right, Damon Zodiac. You're correct. So the agent, so let's do this. The agent presumes that you already know who you are. The agent presumes that you're acting in the place. The agent presumes his entire goal is to trick you up in your speech. His entire goal is to rough you up. It's not until men and women start making these agents pay for their actions personally. And when I say personally, I mean it individually. And this is going to happen, just like Brother Nick's doing it there. Brother Brax is one in court here. Okay, so let me get folks. I'm not going to look at this. It's okay, brother. All right, so he who contracts knows or ought to know the quality of the person with whom he contracts. Otherwise, he is not, let me repeat this, he is not excusable. All right, folks. If you have contracted with somebody without identifying who they are, you are no longer excusable. Ignorance is not excused. He who approves cannot reject. Agreement takes the place of the law. The express understanding of parties supersedes such understanding as the law would imply. The essence of a contract being assent, there is no contract where assent is wanting. All right, so let's do this. Let's do this together. The officer, the agent, asked Brother Nick 10 different ways to Sunday for him to consent to enter his property. What did Brother Nick do every time? Blocked it. No, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're not getting consent from me. You're going to have to use force. You can raid me, but you're not getting the consent from me. All right. That is because it is known that if you do not dissent, you are assenting. All right. So let's go to the next set of the next set. This is important. Idem agents et petiens esse non potest. All right, one cannot be an agent and a patient in the same matter. All right, so we've got to define this because most of y'all are going to think that a patient is a medical term, aren't you? Well, my friends, a patient is one who has been committed to the asylum and has remained there for care and treatment. Well, okay, folks, let's go find out what asylum is. I'm reading from Black's Law's 4th Dictionary, by the way. Let's do this together. We have to do this stuff together, okay? All right. Let's figure out what the asylum is. A sanctuary or place of refuge and protection where criminals and debtors found shelter and from which they should not be taken without sacrilege. Oh, my goodness. In a time of war, a place of refuge in neutral territory for belligerent warships. So when you're in asylum, you're a patient, which means you're a captured enemy. Isn't that funny? Why you think we call the medical people patients, huh? When you're a patient, you are not the principal. And you're not acting as principal. And I just want to do this too. Idem et facere et nolo prohibere cum possis. It is the same thing to do a thing as not to prohibit it when in your power. Listen, folks, this is how this whole system operates. A man ignorant of his rights never has any. A man not willing to defend his rights has none. A man who is ignorant of the law cannot excuse of it. Period. We're going to read some ignorantia in a minute. What does not appear and what is not is the same. It is not the defect of the law, but the want of proof. All right. So your entire life, you've been identifying yourself as the dead thing on the piece of paper. When you go to court, that's the first thing they ask. If you're appearing and really it's not a special visitation, this is why it's so vitally important to know who you are, that you are not the dead thing. And listen, folks, I want to say this too. I don't want people to be afraid of contracting, right? We are. There is no getting rid of your birth certificate. Matter of fact, once you have one, you've got one for life. It's going to be attached to you wherever you go. Don't think you're going to get through your whole life without that. You're not. What you can do is take control of it and be the principal and not acting in the place of the agent anymore. To the item esquier, auxquier, debut, to be able to know is the same as to know. This maxim is applied to the duty of everyone. Hold on, let's say this again. Everyone to know the law. Identitas vera colligator ex multitudinem signorum. True identity is collected from a number of signs. So when you sign the thing, you're making your identity what they want it to be. All right, so let's do a few more, and then we're going to move on. Ignorantia accusator, non juris sed facti. Ignorance of fact may excuse, but not ignorance of law. Ignorance of fact, ignorance of terms is to be ignorant of the art. This ignorantia terminus ignorter et ars. This is important. All right, so one of the things that happens when we come face to face with those of the B system, the officers, is they always set the terms of the engagement. The exact opposite should be the true by a man diligent in his business, is we should set the terms. And one of the things that we should always do also too is set the terms of the contract while we're courting, that we use the King's English. We use common English. We're not using Black's Law Dictionary and the terms, their secret terms, because they might have secret a whole secret book on legalese that nobody in the public has. So you set the terms. You set the terms in this stuff, because if you're ignorant of the terms, you're ignorant of the art, which is the artifice to entrap you. And this is important. These are important. These are important. So when I show you guys the legal maxim, and these go on forever, let's go back one page. I mean, I've got legal maxims that go on forever that I've saved. And here it goes on and on and on and on and on. It is imperative to learn the maxim. That was the point of this. All right, so let's get on. I'm not paying attention. I'll get back. I'll get back to this in just a minute. I'll get back. All right, so let's start. Ignorance of the law excuses not. We done that. All right, so. All right, why is this so important to know the Liber Code, right? Let me blow this up for everybody that they can see. All right, so I showed this, I don't know, a month or so ago, did a good study on it. You know, what I think transpires in most people's mind. Let me get a sip of my coffee. I think what transpires in most people's mind when I show this stuff is almost like this is infotainment. And I don't want that to be so, folks. This study group has compiled and amassed mounds and mounds of information to set people free. And it has done it without asking for one dime. I haven't asked for any support. I haven't asked who Dom. What's wrong with Dom? Let me go see what's going on over here. Dom, you need to calm down. Nobody's. I'm going to tell you right now. Hold on. You want to know why you can't get anything done? You see how emotional you are, and I can guarantee you that's how you act in front of the officers too. You need to chill out, calm down, and realize the world doesn't revolve around you. We're trying to enlighten people and do a study group, and you're wanting to make the focus completely about you. Now stop. You can email me just like you did the other day, and I sat for 30 minutes praying for you and your daughter. Now, I don't appreciate that acting like you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now, thank you. All right. Okay, let's get back in here. All right. Okay. Let's get back focused. All right. So the Liber codes, right? I showed everybody the Liber codes, okay? Also known as General Order Number 100, was an instruction signed by U.S. President Abraham Lincoln to the Union Force of the United States during the American Civil War. These were never redacted, folks. Matter of fact, here's the International Committee of the Red Cross, Section 2, Article 38. And private property, unless forfeited by crimes or by offenses of the owner, can be seized only by way of military necessity for the support or other benefit of the Army of the United States. If the owner has not fled, that means he hasn't run away. Listen, folks, don't flee from this. Don't flee from it. I'm going to share with y'all Brother Kurt Kallenbach's research, which has really helped me out. It's brought me to a new level of understanding. So most of us want to run from our estate. Remember, we're enemy combatants. We've been captured at war. We are in Babylon. Understand this, okay? This is our receipt. All right. This is why the dead ledger text goes on your the dead ledger text goes on your tombstone, and it looks like this. It's all capital letters. You see that? When it's all capital letters like that, that's not a one-to-one correspondent. It's not the English grammatical scale. That is incorrect. It's not in the Chicago Styles Manual neither, without the hyphen in between it. It's sign language. Sign language. You learn to read the signs. A great veil shall lift from humanity. Okay. All right. So let's do this. All right, general orders. I'm going to load this stuff up. Matter of fact, here, guys, if y'all want it here. All right, so prisoners of war, hostages, booty on the battlefield. Okay, so let me make sure that what I've supposed is correct. I'm gonna tell you right now. There's a reason why you have to have a license. There's a reason why you have to have a passport. There's a reason why the District of Columbia, they try to domicile. There's a reason why you have zip codes, which is a military jurisdiction. There's a reason why they're always trying to address you with the last name. There's a reason why you are the surety for the debt of the corporation. There's a reason why you're a bond man and bond woman. All these ideas come together. Let's take, for instance, let's read what a passport is. Let's just do this. And look, guys, I am reading from it. Let's read from Black's Law Dictionary, all right? In international law, a license or safe conduct issued during the progress of war. Hold on, let's read that again. A license or safe conduct issued during the progress of war. Authorizing a person to remove himself or his effects from the territory or one of the belligerent nations to another country, or to travel from country to country without arrest or detention on account of the war. Let's do that together. Let's go do it Black's Law. I'll do it on here. Let's do this. Let me show you that it's always been in your paperwork that you're at war. They've told you. We just don't listen. Come on, Brandon. Oh, there it is. There it is. Here we go. And I'm going to prove we're in international law today. All right. A license or safe conduct issued during the progress of war, authorizing a person to remove himself or his effects from the territory of one of the belligerent nations to another country, or to travel from country to country without arrest or detention on account of the war. This is a fact, guys, that we are only allowed to travel with permission. Of course, that's how I knew from the very get-go of this coronavirus deal when it said all commercial entities needed a pass to leave. Well, you already have one. You had a license. You got a license plate. Most people do anyway. But these ideas kind of are most men and women don't get. All right, so let's do this, the next part. See if I can get that blown up to where y'all can see that. Okay. 50 U.S. Code, Chapter 34, National Emergencies from Title 50, War, National Defense. So make no mistake about this, guys. This is war and national defense. U.S. Code, there is no rule of law. There's only codes and statutes. Codes and statutes come from private international law, folks. All right. We're going to read this together. We're going to read subchapter 2, declarations of future, subchapter 3, exercise of emergency powers and authorities, declaration of a national emergency by executive order, authority, publication, and Federal Register. And it's a declaration that all laws affect on all laws superseding legislations. And it's the termination. And what this is, every time they declare a national emergency, they are claiming we are at war, which is, let's go back and look at it. The Libre Codes, international law, war, all right, all powers, all right, okay, all powers means a declaration. Every year, folks, listen to me, for those out there still pushing Trump or Obama or whatever. Every year, the continuation of like 20 emergencies are signed in. We're under constant emergency. We're never not in an emergency. And that's because constant war is declared in this country over and over and over again. So, all right. So let's catch up with each other. Before we go forward, let me go look into the chat. All right, so here. All right, so now we're in the chat. Hey, so let me answer that. Meso. The gold fringe flag is an Admiralty flag. That's it. It's called the Jolly Rogers. It's letting you know right off the rip that you're in a military occupation. Okay. And of course, let's do this together. Where did they get this power from? Article 3, Section 2. Let's read this. Let's read this together. The judicial power shall extend to all cases. And this is one of the few parts of the Constitution they actually use. This and your Article 10, which is your contract clause, okay? This is where they got the Admiralty law from, all right? And the reason why they wrote this in there is because you see the Law and Equity. Law and Equity was merged in 1938, if I remember correctly. And then down here, look, the other jurisdiction is right there. Law and Equity is no longer, we have complete courts of chancery. We don't have judges. We have magistrates. We don't have constables on patrol. We have policy enforcers. We have revenue producers. Everything is commercial. Everything is law merchant. Everything is codes and statutes. There is no rule of law. Matter of fact, here, I forgot to do this. Let me do this too. Let me show y'all this. Y'all want to know why the 501c3 churches, and there's no difference between statism and the 501c3 corporations? I want y'all to take a look at this, and this comes from our brother Brian. He shared this with me a long time ago. If one's a courtroom and one's a church, most old church styles. You see the pews behind the gate for the Gentiles. You see the altars of incense, the showbread and sacrifice. Is there a choir or a jury box? Where do you pray for relief? Both administrate the repair and maintenance for a debtor in possession of an estate in receivership. How about that, folks? Both administrate the repair and maintenance for a debtor in possession of an estate in receivership. That's why you keep going back and filling the coffers, because they're one and the same thing. They are both status, and their God is the state. All right, their God is the state. Okay. So let's get back into, they are the same thing. Okay. Let's do this. Let's ask this. If you claim ownership of property name that the government believes they own, you created the controversy. So why are you complaining? Pay the charge. Oh, dude, what kind of moron are you? So the government believes they own. The government believes they own me. Is that what you say? No, what they own is a piece of paper. They know they own they can act like they own the piece of paper too, because I can take control of that too. If you believe somebody else owns you, well, you're just a willing slave. I'm sorry for you. Nobody owns me. Nobody. No, they have rules of engagement. All right, so Kathy, no, that is the purpose of getting in here today. And we're not done yet. We're going even further. I'm probably going to go about another 20, 30 minutes. All right, so I've identified that we're at war. Matter of fact, here, let's do this. All right, so before we go any further, make no mistake, the State Department Office of the Assistant Legal Advisor for Private International Law has primary responsibility for coordinating U.S. efforts in the development of private international law. Practitioners, corporate counsel, scholars, and government attorneys participate in the private international law harmonization process through membership in the Secretary of State's Advisory Committee on Private International Law, specialized study groups and delegations to UNICITRAL, UNIDROIT, the Hague Conference, and the OAS Inter-American Conferences on Private International Law. Draws heavily on the private sector for sectoral expertise and works closely with the National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Laws. All right, so period. This system is a commercialized with feigned words, with words of art. They've made merchandise out of us, folks. Let me tell you how true that is. They've got a bank bond that's worth more money than I've ever seen. And they are traded on the stock market. And everybody today is freaking out that their system's going to implode tomorrow. They got more fake money tied up in us than anything else in the world. You go 350 million people times, let's just say 4 million apiece. How much money? That's just astronomical. And each different birth certificate, depending on longevity and how much money you've made, probably has a different value. I don't know. But this is the Lex Mercatoria, folks. And the Lex Mercatoria is based on commerce. And so let me get back. Yeah, hey Karen, yes, this is going to be it's going to be on a live stream. You can watch afterwards. You can watch the live streams afterwards. I'm going to put in, after the live stream's loaded, I'm going to put all this information in. I'm going to put some research sites. We're going to go through this here. We're not done yet. I want to make some more tie-ins. The importance of this study is to prove, one, that you're captured. Two, you're thought of as livestock. Three, the importance of knowing who you are. Four, the operating system. All right. So now we know who we are. We know who the enemy is. Now we can start working towards a goal of what? Remedy. And listen, folks, listen. The most important part of this of everything that I've shown, and all through what I've shown, is that you know yourself and you know the power that lies within you. I'm telling you, folks. No, they don't, Amy. Let me do this. No, these are useful idiots, Amy. And I hate to say that. That's what police are. They're useful idiots. There you go. Brian knows this. Hold on. Let's see. Knife Life. If I have signed a contract with them in the past, can I still be free from them? I have been in the legal system many times. I am currently under probation. Yes, you can, brother. You can always be free. You can always be free. The first place to break free is right here. All right. Once you break these chains, everything else start really falling off. What we have to do though is hold on, I saw it. Let me see. Been dying to ask if you know if you're aware the 1,000 years have already passed. So let me answer this question. I'm a preterist. So anybody, that's why I showed y'all the Great Tribulation is really your perspective. There's only one perspective, folks. You will only see this world through one set of eyes. That's it. That's it. That's the only set of eyes you'll ever look at this world. And there's only one Father, one Son, and one temple that they dwell in. Either you're a friend of the Father or you're a friend of the world. So all these ideas about all these people setting dates and everything else, you won't see me do that. You know why? Because I don't put myself in the place of the Most High. I'm a watchman on the wall, Brother Jason. I warn, but more importantly, I don't just warn. I want solutions. I never come into this game looking to stop at one place. I wanted answers for the problems that I saw in this world, and I wouldn't stop until I had them. And I'll tell you this, the Father rewards those who continue and diligently search. It will be reward. See, Big Sib, you should consider putting your videos in more than one place, maybe BitChute or DLive. I really hope, if nothing else, you save them on a personal computer. I do, not your grandpa. No. Austin Clementine, I got 90% of that process done. And matter of fact, so let me answer y'all that. Let me answer this to y'all. I'm going to show y'all in the next few weeks how to do one of the many processes. Disclaimer right now. Disclaimer. Okay. So let me do this before we even move forward. Let me let me get a big view up here. All right. So guys, one of the big things that I am very, 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 very cognizant of is that I recognize how many people are following this channel now. With that comes great responsibility. I cannot, in good conscience, just throw a remedy out there to about 2,000 of y'all who really are ready for most of this, and then just kind of leave the rest of the flock dangling, and they don't know. That's why I did this study. This study right here, this live stream is to kind of release me from some of the guilt that's eating me up, because I've seen so many people asking so many questions. Why was Brother Nick succeeding? So yes, we are going to get to some remedies here very shortly. We're going to get to some declaration of wills, and I'm going to tell y'all right now. For those of y'all, let's do that. Let's do this. Let me read something. One of the first things y'all need to learn is that. Well, I don't think that's it. One of the first things y'all need to learn is to rebut the presumptions. I think this is one of them. I'm not sure. Let me see. That's government obligations. This is it. This is the one. I'm going to put this in the show notes. Y'all want to learn how to rebut presumptions? This is a pretty good one. I want y'all to read that I want people to save that. All right. So let's get back to the discussion at hand. How long has this been going on? Well, let's see. Let's do this together, okay? Let me show you the ancient system of pledging Well, we know this. Colonel Amandel House revealed that the American people would be required to register their biological property in a national system designed to keep track of the people and that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. That ancient system of pledging has been around since the Hammurabi codes. So, yes, it's been around for a very long time, sister. Very long time. Very long time. And we are. We are all on different levels. We just have to, we have to, once we get, okay, so this entire system is based on the presumption that you already know, right? That's how they presume that you know. They presume that you've been diligent in your business and that you are completely aware. And instead of being compos mentis, means of sound mind, you have decided that you want to initiate the doctrine of parens patria, which is the state is your father. Matter of fact, let's read that together. Let's see. Yeah. Parens patria, the father of his country, parent of the country. I mean, well, that would be, yeah, that you've initiated the paterna patrias means that you've initiated that state is your God. Now, listen, folks, there's only two jurisdictions. There's the jurisdiction of the beast, and then there's the jurisdiction of the Father, which is the God of the living. He is not the God of the dead. He is the God of the living. I should remember where that is, but we're going to read that together. Luke 20:38. Oh, come on. Let's read that together. Bible Gateway. There we go. For he is not the God of the dead, but of the living, for all live unto him. And so from your perspective, from the perspective, the separation, and that's right. Come here. Let's get that. There you go. They're always trying to separate. When they told you that they were separating the church and the state, well, they did it. They did it legally, and they've done. That's why you don't learn spiritual truths. You don't learn spiritual truths at your school. You're taught that you're a monkey fish frog, and that is to lower you down. It's always a lowering down. All right, let me see what else we got up here before I move on. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the show notes too. All right, we're gonna enter that. Keith Carmack, yes. Well, here's the perfect thing, man. You can actually institute the KJV as your law inside a court of law. So that okay. So gonna make me a monkey fish frog shirt tomorrow. Thank you, brother Stephen. Look, guys, so really the truth is that over time we have forgotten the importance of our words. We have allowed this system, we have allowed its enforcers. I don't hate anybody. But what I will tell you is that many men and women focus on the wrong stuff instead of always focusing on how to set our brothers and sisters free. And it's really amazing, though, once you are diligent in your business and you rightly divide the word of truth, and you're a workman that needeth not be ashamed. I promise you, folks, you will find a new power that you never thought possible, a new spirit within, a new peace, and you'll really start grasping this information. Oh yeah, well let me say that yes, actually we have allowed this, Rose. We did allow this. You want to know how we allowed it? I've showed y'all the in 1920 the eighth grade exit exam at a Kansas farm school. Yes, we did. We allowed them to take us off the farm. We allowed us to industrialize us. We ate up the propaganda like it was sausage. We took all the lies on the TV. Right now, today, they have told everybody the truth that the coronavirus is a complete hoax and by nothing but recommendations, suggestions, and guidelines. The people have entirely shut down their entire nation. They were honest. The people just didn't know how to read or write. It's amazing, but we can't keep blaming them. We have to take back our children. I've taken mine back. My children, my boys aren't going to the public schools. I've got one daughter, 23, and I hate to say this about my daughter. I love her to death, but she's like a little commie. She is. She believes that the government should have took our rights for this virus. That's because she went to public school. She's been taught how to be a good citizen. Well, and I'll agree to your point a little bit. I'm not saying that they did it. I'm not saying that they have no involvement, but we allowed them to take our minds. What you mean, Sean? Well, my daughter, I rose my daughter. She's halfway there, but she really. This was one played out, very well played psychological operation. Hey, man, it'll be okay. Hey, Daniel, hey, she'll come back around. I planted the seeds. That's the most part. That's the most important part. All right. Hey, listen, they've been trained in the ways of socialism. They don't know anything other than socialism. I do want to say this, but let's see. All right. So, yeah, I do need to talk about this. Okay. So contract law. Okay. It's important. This is very important. Contract law should be man to man. Remove the office. And what I'm saying is, what they're going to try to do is act in the place of the office. You don't allow that. You contract man to man. That means he must identify. You got to know with who you're dealing. If a man doesn't know who he's dealing with, he'll never know. All orders must be in writing and must be addressed to me. That's why I knew all these vague and ambiguous language and general language that was all to the corporations under the mega corporation during the coronavirus had no place towards me. They weren't towards me. They were towards the corporations. All orders, when written, let me give y'all something else too. You get something in the mail and it says, just like, all right, so let's do this. You get a summons and it's using language like this. Don't worry about the @ symbol. Brandon must appear, and it's all capital letters. There's a simple form to do, folks. You don't have to accept this contract. They're trying to get you to consent. There's no one-to-one correspondence. There's no way that you can define that term. It's not English. Matter of fact, it's not even grammatically correct with the Chicago Styles and Manuals 17th, or it might be 18th. I can't remember. It might 17th, 16th, 17th. There's no one-to-one correspondence. That means this is a fraud, and as such, You should not accept this contract. You should not accept this terms. You should not accept this orders. That's why it is vitally important. Why I kept reading to everybody all these proclamations and everything else saying they don't mean anything, because they didn't mean anything. So next is to learn your maxims. Okay, that is important. Let's do this. Let me put this in the show notes. This is the small copy without the Latin. All right. That's without the Latin, guys. Okay. And then for those who want the Latin, here you go. There we go. Well, a novel just means new. You know, they told you this from the beginning, right? Hold on, let me show you something. COVID-19, all capital letters from the very get-go. It was a corporation. It was already making money. It was set up for profit. It's a corporation. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's a corporation. Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, you're not supposed. As a matter of fact, you can always get when a police pulls you over with his flashers and leaves them running. You can actually cite him for that. The truth is out there. You can actually give him a cite for that. He's not. It's not legal. Well, let's talk about this Cairo that we were told, right? I always like doing pieces of paper, right? All right, so you went to public school, right? That's the e pluribus unum, out of many one, the one have mind. Schools are for fish in mason jars. Why would we ever send our schools for each one of our special children to be just like everybody else? I mean, it just really, the more spiritually in tune I get, the more I see how crazy it is that I ever sent any of my children to public school. It was right there the whole time. Standardized testing, like they're all just little knuckleheads. No, each child's gifted to a different ability, and we never allow them to shine all the way through. No, you can't. You can't get everybody out of the spell. Well, and of course, holy moly, let's do this. The pledge was, a pledge is a surety for the debt. They told you, you pledged your allegiance to the flag. To a flag? Are you crazy? Really? The second, what we don't worship idols. Our God's the God of the living, not the dead. No idol. The only place that he dwells is within us. And people still don't know who the Antichrist is. It's the anti-anointed. You just don't have the Spirit of Christ within you. And you're anti-Christ. It's he who sits in the temple of God proclaiming himself to be God, and he's not. Brandon will never put himself in the place of the Most High, but I know where the Most High dwells. It's that. Listen, folks, let me tell you something. Let me do this again. Let's do another piece of paper. It's the narrow path. Okay? It's narrow. It's narrow for a reason, because there's few that be there that find it, because broad and wide is the path to destruction. And it's an effort. It's a continual effort of seeking his face. All right, so let's get back into the chat room real quick. Let me ask some questions. All right, so is there anything that I need to talk about that helps with liability? Oh, yeah, let's do that. All right, so commercial liability, guys. All right, so what we're always doing, what you saw with Brother Nick. All right, and then why we want to identify them. listen, you're always going back and forth. You're pushing the liability back to them. They want you to accept the liability. If you accept the liability, they've got you entrapped. So you're always, listen, you don't, when a cop walks up to you and says, show me your license and your registration, you don't say no. You counter an offer with an offer. So when he walks up and he says, I need your license, Mr. Sibley, or whatever, if he doesn't even know me or whatever, I don't care what he calls me. I want to identify him at that point in time. And so I make him identify himself. If he doesn't at that time, and this is very important, I'm going to write this in. You need to learn about this estoppel by conduct. It means he is hiding information from you. As such, any consent obtained after notifying him is void. Yeah, Brother Nick. Hey, Brother Nick is the guy who's in Australia with the people trying to enter in his compound. That's who Brother Nick is. Yes, Kathy, that is true. That is true. That is true. You have to. All right, so let me go ahead. Is Brother Stephen, are you still in here? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, we're going to get to that too, Brother Stephen. We'll get to that because we're gonna get to the point to where we're asserting our notice and doing our declaration of will and status. We're going to get to that. Okay. We're going to get to all that, guys. Let me ask Overwatchers. But if we use legal maxims, it is based on the intent, right? If my intent was to show respect for the soldiers that gave their lives and not to bow or give my allegiance to the flag, am I still wrong? So intent, we can have the greatest intent of the world, and still be ignorant and be completely wrong, right? The way that we really honor men and women, and look, my brother is a Marine still. I wish I could have stopped him from doing it, but the real honor is by trying to enlighten these individuals. And maybe we'll get to that point one day or not. But believe me, this the powers that shouldn't be. Let's see who's asking that question. Their sons and daughters never. Their sons and daughters never die in war, just ours. The pseudoscience they use, flyogenesis, taxonomists classifying, not isolating the virus and identifying who. Now, Leah, it's just a hoax. It's just a live exercise drill. That's all it is. That's all it ever was. I showed that with Pompeo. It's been an entire drill. That's all it was. I guess I need to. I didn't know Rose Hannah had a channel. Rose, I'll actually subscribe to your channel. I see a lot of people saying that you've got. I didn't know that you had a channel. I'm sorry. Well, here's here Florida. Yes, listen. You can accept for value all kind of things here. You're really not in debt. But yeah, it's. People keep saying that the Jubilee's coming and everything else. I imagine at some point they're going to have some type of reset in the system. I knew. Let me say this. I hypothesized at the beginning of this COVID-19 that this wasn't the big one because of different scenarios that I was watching. They don't take it all at once. They they make the new norm. They shift us, and they shifted us a big shift this time. No doubt about it. We were shifted huge. But I've heard people talking about this. You got the St. Germain Trust. You got different ideas and everything else. But for me and my household, I'm confident in moving forward that I'll be able to maneuver through this system because I know who I am, and that is the purpose of everything in this particular study. That's right, Brian. You got it. You got it, buddy. There's no way to pay a debt. Well, and not just it's really, hey, Kristen, Sarah Fenton, I refuse to wear a mask. Yeah, I'm not. I haven't worn a mask. So listen, guys, let me do this. I'm glad you asked that. So I'm gonna right here. Let's do this. All right, on the website, guys, listen. So listen, I have a website, and it's called artexposed.net. It's just the fellowship forum, guys. Hardly anybody uses it. But down here at the bottom, online books and PDFs. All right, interesting books, some important books and links. Right here, you click on it, and this is that's the Webster's Dictionary. One of the most important reads that anybody can read is Frederick Bastot's The Law. It'll get you ready to understand the concepts that we're talking about. That and Paper Arrows. Paper Arrows is a very good book. Woe Unto You Lawyers is a very good book. And here's 10, 12 books right here. For anybody that wants to get started and learn this stuff. But on this site, we have a bunch of people downloading. Private EG and Stephen the Hebrew do a great job of uploading a bunch of stuff. I wish there was more people on this site. But anyway, that's where you get the PDF of the books. So let me put this in here. And it's for free, guys. I'm going to put it in here this time. It's for free. The fellowship is only going to go as far as y'all take it. Yeah, I would love to see how they define that. You couldn't log in or sign up because you probably have to have an email. That's not me. That's brother Gary that runs the site. Hey guys, I don't have anything. Yeah, you do. You're going to have to free the people. You're going to need to rewatch this one. We covered a bunch of big topics, especially at the beginning. The truth about your birth certificate is very important. So guys, I'm going to close this down. It's been long enough. I'm starting to lose focus. I hope this helps people, men and women, to understand why this is vitally important, this information, why it's vitally important for you to know the difference between private and public, why it's different for you to know what the difference between a man and a person. It is highly important for you to know what a corporation is, what a persona is, and what a man is. What a living man is, what a dead agent is, what a living principal is versus a dead agent, how to notify the principal and how to notify the agent, how to work as the agent versus working as the principal. These ideas as we move forward, this private international law and the law of contracts. Here, let's go read that. Article 10 of the Constitution. Let's read this before we go because I don't want anybody to miss out on this. Article 10. Just do contract clause. Constitution. It's so hard to remember all this stuff. The obligation, Article 1, Section 10, is known as the contract clause. And that means no state shall prohibit any contracts, because what happens when you enter into contract, the contract makes the law. Let's go define that. Let's make sure. Let's look at this right here. Right here. The contract makes the law. So all obligations, so you have the consideration, all right? You have the agreement, and then you have the obligations, folks. It's just that simple. If you know that all your engagements with these commercial entities, and that's what they are, police, state troopers, even the sheriff. The sheriff is supposed to be a common law jurisdiction, and them cowards have acquiesced to the corporation. They're supposed to be common law. They're supposed to be the sheriff. But they're agents, for revenue producers too. And everything's about contract. Everything is about contract. All right. So, all right. All right, brother. Well, here we go. Double K. I've actually got audio of a brother here in the United States doing it in court, and then on my playlist. Hold on. Let me show y'all guys. You guys are something else. Y'all miss out on everything. I've got a playlist on my channel. Let's do this. How did I get there? All right, there we go. I'm getting there now. Right here. You see this guy way over here? He's in my playlist. You see that guy? Let's go ahead and pull it up. Oh, well, it's not going to let me play it. Well, here, right here. Here it is. Living man arrested for feeding himself from the land. Go ahead and watch that 15-minute video. And that was 2013, Ernie Rutledge. Then I have audio of Brother Abraxas. There's a reason why I haven't uploaded it, because nobody would agree to it. Yes, there's many men and women who have gone up against this system and defeated it. Many. You just don't hear about them. Nobody wants to. Just Jimbo Khan. Just Google Section 1, Article 10 of the U.S. Constitution and read it. Yeah, I opened it. Here, let me do this. Let me just do this. Let me just give y'all the video. How about that? Y'all gotta have patience with me sometimes, guys. I'm a knucklehead sometimes. Here. Where'd it go? There it goes. Here. I don't know why I did that. Copy. All right. Here you go. Just watch that video. That's a good video. Yeah, Section 1, Article 10, Jimbo Khan. That's right. Hey, a thread killer. We just got thread killer. This has been we've discussed a lot of topics in here. But here's the truth. Some of this we haven't covered. We just covered the basics. We covered why it's so important to know thy words, why it's so important to know thyself. And now we have identified clearly who the enemy is, who the beast is. That was the purpose of today. And I hope we got that done. If we didn't, guys, please let me know in the comments whether we didn't. All right. So, all right, with that, guys, let's close this thing out. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for bringing together this fellowship today, this study. Thank you for anointing this messenger with this message, and let the seed continue to fall on good ground and continue to bud forth and bring forth great fruit. And let thy word not return unto thee void, but let it accomplish that which you please and prosper in everything and everywhere that you send it. In your precious son's name we pray. Hey, thank you guys for coming. Thank you, everybody. Cube, Buster, Dayton, Rogers, MF Puppies. I don't know. There's always one guy that's very angry. Let's see what I saw it. I saw that guy. I don't know where he went, but I saw that cuss word. Yeah, hey guys, y'all move them guys. Y'all remove them guys. that do all that cussing. Here, right here, this guy right here. Y'all remove them guys. Don't let them do that. Hey, much love, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful day. You can believe it's bullcrap if you want, man, but you are in an open air prison. You are a debtor, and you are the surety for the debt of the United States Corporation. And you can believe whatever you want to believe, but that's the hardcore truth. I love you all, and to all a good night.
As baptizable. See, the field of astro...
on how much contribution they're willing to make to the church.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, right. Very good. You got me derailed there. That's good.